Alright, what's up, guys? See if I can get this all done within 20 minutes. I know it's been like forever. Boy, do I have a lot to talk about. In this video, as you can see, I've got my reading journal here, my reading log here, so I can go back onto notes. I will be going over, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books I read, plus one I didn't read, don't plan on reading, I'll explain why later. I'm also going to go over another little mini book haul of more books that I just got, whether they're physical or on my e-reader. And without further ado, let's get started. So the first book I'm going to talk about, we'll start out with the pile of books that I read, just so we can get through those. The first book that I read is a middle grade book called The Miracle of Ebenezer Street, written by Catherine Doyle. I gave this book 3 stars, and I will tell you why. First of all, love the book. I really enjoyed the story. It's a very nice, heartwarming story about a couple kids who their father, after their mother died, basically became a Grinch with Christmas, doesn't like Christmas at all, hates it, hates everything about it. And so it's up to the kids to basically de-Scroogenize him, if that's a word. I did enjoy the story. The only reason why I gave it a 3-star rating is because, in my opinion, it felt like the story, even though it was a great story, but I felt like it just progressed a little too slow for my taste. But that was why I gave it a 3 stars. Let's see. So the next book that I read is The Night She Disappeared. I didn't give this one a rating. Okay, so I read this halfway through this book. And then I just completely stopped it, and I decided to DNF it. Not because the story wasn't great. The story was great. I liked the momentum was going. I like how you go back and forth between the past and the present. But the thing that made me stop reading it entirely was because starting around page 209, there was a lot of LGBTQ content. I personally don't like reading books with that content in it. I just don't. I do love Lisa Jewell's books. I've read, other books from her, and I've enjoyed them a lot. I was really kind of disappointed that I wasn't able to finish this book because of that content, or else I know I would have enjoyed the whole thing if that content was left out. I would still recommend it. I mean, she's a great author. If that's something it doesn't bother you in reading, then you'll definitely like this story. Basically, the story is about a girlfriend and boyfriend that they have a baby together. And one day they go to leave to a party, and then they never come back home, and they just completely disappeared. And you go between the past and the present time, between the mother of the girlfriend and the mother and another woman who's actually a thriller writer. And you're basically going back and forth between the two, trying to figure out what happened to this couple. So, yeah, there's that one. I apologize for my big-headed fluffy boy Simba's head being in the video. He likes to be friendly and say hi. This next book, sadly it was also a DNF, is Amari and the Night Brothers. I was so excited when I got my hands on this book. I wanted to read this book so bad. I love the cover. I love the shade of blue. I love how it sparkles with the gold, or silver, sorry. And basically this book is about Amari, whose brother disappears one day, and And one mysterious day, she finds a suitcase in his closet with information for her to go to this mysterious school to try to find her brother or what happened to her brother. I originally got it because I'm a huge fan of the Nevermore series, and a lot of people were saying it was very similar to the Nevermore series. So I give it a try. Again, I was really enjoying this book. The story was really good. The characters were really good. The thing that made me DNF it was it was starting to get into more and more witchcraft. And it's not that I don't like reading about witchcraft. I'm a Christian woman. So as a Christian woman, I don't read witchcraft. Sorry, my husband's staring at me. So that was my reason for DNFing this book. And unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of DNFs in this video. I didn't have a good time with my selections. But you know, it's a lesson learned. Next book that I read, didn't finish, but I decided to DNF it. I don't know if I'm going to continue it. It's the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I don't know, I just couldn't really get into it. I just couldn't get into the writing. I mean, there was a little bit of, some humor in there. Definitely a lot of stuff from, definitely from the 90s. This book takes place in the 90s, which, in that sense, I was able to relate to very well. I was born in the 90s. But just the writing style of this book, I just couldn't get into it. I don't know if I'll try to read again and continue it, or just completely just DNF and get rid of it. But yeah, that was my opinion on that. Oh, and just an FYI, all the books that I'm showing you that I've read, plus this bonus book that I'll show you soon, I am getting rid of, since they're, DNFs and whatnot. So, if you're interested in any of these books that I'm showing you, go ahead and comment down below which ones you're interested in, and then we can go from there. Alright. Go ahead and close this out, because I don't need the notes for these last two. So this last one, another popular book. A lot of people said they enjoyed it, that they loved it, and that is Daughter of the Deep. I rated it 1 star. I really didn't really care for the stories much. I don't know if it was the writing or how the story was progressing. I'm not sure what killed it for me, but for some reason, every time I would try to read it, I'd end up with a headache. So it could have been just me, I don't know. But yeah, it's Daughter of the Deep. Now, this last book I had picked up from a thrift store, solely based on the cover. It looked interesting. I haven't read it yet, nor do I plan to, because once I came home and I read the summary of it, it's not really something that I would be into. It's about basically a man who's got several wives. Again, not something that I would really like. So if anybody wants this book or is interested in this book, please comment down below. And we'll go from there. Give me an offer, and good an offer for any of these books. If you want any of them, just comment down below with an offer, and yeah, go from there. All right, so now we got the reds out of the way, we will go over books that I have to read and one that I'm currently reading. we'll start out with all the ebooks, only just because there's a few. I'm gonna show them. This is not my e-reader, this is my iPad. My e-reader, it's a Kindle e-reader 4th gen, so it's not the clearest to show on camera. So I'll be using my iPad to show you the book covers. So we'll start out with the book that I'm currently reading on my e-reader, and that is The Vanda Beakers on 141st Street. The Vanda Beakers is a series of it's a series of now 6 books. The 6th book, it just came out earlier this month on the 15th, and so far with this first book, absolutely loving the story. It's a nice, nice, cozy, clean story. It's about a family called the Vanderbeekers that they live in Harlem, New York, in this apartment building that's owned by this man called Mr. Biederman, who apparently the kids feel like he doesn't like them. And there's one particular day the parents announced that Mr. Biederman won't renew their lease, and so they'll be moving. And of course, the kids are disappointed. They grew up there, they don't want to move. And so basically, the kids are trying to come up with this plan and how to get Mr. Biederman to like them again in order for him to renew their lease so that they don't have to move. So I haven't finished it yet. It's a very small book. There's only like 20 chapters in it, and I believe I'm in chapter 10, so I'm halfway. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. It's considered middle grade because it is for younger, but I'd say it's for all ages. I mean, I definitely enjoy it. I do plan on reading the rest of the series in my own time, of course. But so far, that's the one that I'm currently reading. The next ebook that I have in my e-reader, actually the next 3 that I'm going to show you, or the last 3 I should say, are ARC copies that I've gotten from publishers. The first one, let me go to this next page, is the page is so big, but it's called Unfailing Love by Jeanette Oak and Laurel Oak Logan. Jeanette Oak is a very, very good writer. I love her. She wrote the series Love Comes Softly, which I absolutely adore. I don't have the full series yet. I'm still working on that. But I do have at least 4 out of the 7 in the series, I believe. Maybe 5. But this book is based on the TV show When Hope Calls. It's about these 3 sisters that they build an orphanage in their town, and there's a couple of orphan boys that they take care of. And in this book, the orphan boys, they disappear, they run away, and so it's up to the 3 sisters to find them and figure out what happened to them or where they went. This is a Christian book. Jeanette Oak is a Christian writer, so it is a clean story, which I like that a lot. I'm leaning more towards books without so much profanity nowadays. So this book in particular doesn't get released until June 7th of this year. So this is definitely a book to definitely look out for. I was able to get an art copy. I want to definitely thank Jeanette Oak and her publishers for allowing me to have this art copy, and I can't wait to start reading this. If you're wondering how to get art copies yourself, I use a website called netgalley.com. It's completely legal. It's a free account, and you can request any upcoming book that's listed there. And then the publishers or the author will respond back to you to let you know if your request was approved or not. Some publishers, they have certain rules to get an art copies, others don't, so it's kind of like a hit or miss when you apply. But I've been, lucky to get a lot of books. So that's that art copy. The next art copy that I got is called Missing Pieces, and it's 4 puzzling cozy mysteries in one. That's the cover there. I decided to get an art copy of it when I watched a YouTuber. Her name is Lindsay. She's got a YouTube channel, Christian Books for Christian Girls, I believe it's called. If you haven't seen her videos, I highly recommend you see them. She's a very sweet, nice girl. I love her book recommendations. This was one of them. And the one that I'm going to show you after this was another recommendation of hers. For Christian fiction. I started getting into cozy mysteries when I started reading Arsenic and Adobo series. I have both book 1 and book 2, and I am excited for book 3 to be coming out on that series. And since I like that, and I like the cozy mysteries, I figured, why not get another one that's got 4 cozy mysteries in one? See how it goes. And then the last ebook that I've got recently, again, an art copy, is called Off the Chain by Janice Thompson. Now, this book and the book previously, the Missing Pieces book, they both came out May 11th of this year. So I'm a little late in reading them, but it's okay. It's fine. There's no problem with that. So one thing that I thought was really cool and really interesting between both books is Janice Thompson, which again, thank you so much for giving me this arc, as well as your publishers. She also has a story of hers in the Missing Pieces book. So again, thank you again for that book as well. I want to thank, all those authors and the publishers who agreed to give me these art copies. But yeah, I'm so excited to be reading all these. Eventually, I'll put my Goodreads account, I'll attach my Goodreads account to my YouTube videos. You guys can see the rest of my TBR list that I have there. Yeah, there's a lot there. Eventually add it once I'm trying to work on like reorganizing my stuff on there before I put it up there, so it'll eventually definitely be up there. So now the last bit are the book haul of books that I've got physically, and I'll do that really quick because I can tell I'm running out of time here. So the first book is called Extras, and this is the 4th book in the Uglies series. I currently have the first book somewhere around here in my collection, and I saw this in my library's friendly library corner, so I picked it up. The next book that I got is another Lisa Jewell, and it's called The Family Upstairs, which I'm excited to read it. Again, I love Lisa Jewell, so I'm not giving up on her just because of that one book. Just because of one fail? No, we're gonna keep going. The next book I picked up, and I still haven't got the sticker off, is another Kathy Rach's book, and I was so excited to find it. This one is a large print copy. I'm trying to get the complete series on this. Almost there. These are the book series that inspired the TV show Bones. So, and I'm a huge fan of Bones, so that's why I wanted to read the books. So there's that book. The other book is Sunny Rolls the Dice, and it is a nice, colorful graphic novel. I love graphic novels like this. In one of my previous videos, I did discuss the first book, Sunny Side Up, and I enjoyed it so much that I want to collect the rest of the books in this graphic novel series. I think there's another one in the series that I have that I've shown in a video. It's somewhere around here. This next one I got, it's called Classic Irish Stories, and one of the authors in particular is Arthur Conan Doyle. And if you're not familiar with him, he wrote the